Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the live stream on Iron Cove on the Parramatta. A magnificent morning here for the JB Sharp Centenary Regatta. Yes, it all started off in 1924, and 100 years later, the family of JB Sharp still sponsoring and supporting. But that was a separate stuff. Well, we're told that the entrance in the men's under 16 single scull. We're back together again. We've got two areas of coverage this morning, so if it's a little bit confusing, we've got one on live stream. We've also got one on the course here. But this is the men's under 16 scull, sponsored by Viva Energy Australia, one of the new sponsors on board for the JB Sharp. I think everyone's been very impressed with this. Is a regatta that has been going now for 100 years. The four starters up there now comprise two Leichhardt representatives, one from Glebe and one from St Augustine's. In lane 1, from Leichhardt, Luca Wilson, coached by Isaac Shepherd. Lane 2 from Glebe, William Tarrant. From lane 3, Leichhardt number 1 sculler, William Spuge, and St Augustine's. In lane 4, Lachlan Schofield. Well, they've already started, and what a great event to start it off with the youngsters. We'll call them under 16 sculls, and there will be a special trophy today for the under 16 winners for both the men's under 16 and the women's under 16. A very big field here for the final regatta of the series. There have been three previous races. One was cancelled because of the weather. But now we see them coming down here. Lane number 1, of course, on this side of the course, but lane number 4 on the far side is from St Augustine's, a notable rowing school, and even their coaches involved from St Augustine's have been involved in world championships and in many of the Australian championships in more recent years. In fact, probably the last 10 or 15 years. Well, you can probably keep an eye on the scullers as they come down, and the men's under 16 scullers. So in the background you can see the marvellous sight there of the Iron Cove Bridge. And all this racing today will start off at the stone wall, which is this side of the bridge. And this race would be under about 800 metres. By the time they come past the island, which you will pick up, it'll be 500 metres gone, and about 300 metres further on then to in the direction of UTS Haberfield, but the finishing line would be off the end of Rod Island. Well, as you can see, in lane 4, St Augustine's, Lachlan Schofield out in front by about 2 or 3 lengths. Coming up in second place, it looks like it would be Leichhardt's William Spuge. And no, that's I think that's the Glebe sculler. Leichhardt sculler back in, this looks like the sculler in lane 4, I think it would be. But out in front, I think that's definitely St Augustine's on the far side. Leichhardt now are starting to change their position, and are moving up now within about a length and a half of the sculler from St Augustine's. So Leichhardt 1, William Spuge back in second place. Third place then to Glebe, William Tarrant, and then fourth place sculler just going past a little bit outclassed in this event in the under 16, rating a lot lower, but rating very well, rowing extremely well, well coached. And we're out of sight of the finishing line here, but that would be the order in which they finish up. I'm pretty sure we're covered by trees. We're just below Leichhardt Oval, and trees that extend down there onto the number 2 oval and down past the swimming pool, if you know the site well, just taking the finishing line out of view. But it looks like St. Augustine's taking the win. Lachlan Schofield, sorry, it's St. Augustine's Lachlan Schofield, followed by William Spuge from Leichhardt, then back to Glebe, William Tarrant, and 4th place then would be the Leichhardt sculler Luca Wilson. Well, approaching now, we have the second division of the men's under 16 single scull. That's sponsored by Viva Energy once again. And on this side, another sculler from St. Augustine's, Henry O'Hare, closest to us, St. Paul's Grammar. His name is Jacob L. Darwish. And then third from the grandstand would be Andrew Gu, and then Glebe on the far side from Sebastian Koskar. Well, fairly close racing on this stage. The St. Augustine sculler once again, and it's a leading school. It's not a GPS college, but they're well up there with the GPS colleges, and in fact their coaches, as I've said before, at Australian Championship level. The school does particularly well. But St. Augustine's Henry O'Hare in the lead and well in command of this event as they go through the 500 metre mark. And O'Hare carrying the club colours of St. Augustine's. A second place right next to him, there would be, it looks like St. Paul's Grammar, which come from the Penrith area, the Katoomba area, Blue Mountains, and that's Jacob Ed Darwish, coached by Liam Taylor. A good race going on for third, and that would be between Leichhardt and Glebe. Leichhardt sculler there in third place would be Andrew Gu, coached by Isaac Shepherd, and 4th place then the Glebe sculler Sebastian Koskar. Well, all the scullers are holding their positions. Oh, we do have a floater out there, but nevertheless, I think that could be the sculler from they do have a safety boat out there, so it's all well. So anyway, we'll give you official placings as soon as we get those in the second division of the men's under 16 scull.
First division placings are up on the screen, so I'll get a charge. Yeah. It's actually a 900 metre course, we changed it.
Well, this course now is on 900 metres. St. Augustine's taking, this is the results of race number 1. St. Augustine's back to Leichhardt, number 1 sculler, then followed by Glebe and Leichhardt 4, as reported. And as soon as we have the results for race number 2, the men's under 16 scull, second division, we'll give you those. The next scheduled event is the men's intermediate Cox 4, sponsored by Viva Energy Australia once again. That's due to start at 9:16, so got a few minutes to go. 2 crews competing there, one from UTS in lane 1 on this side of the course. So that would be the crew from UTS. That may have been, well, the crew that rode past us a few moments ago. That's Henry Pursehouse, Robert Oliver, Charles Brand and William Pender. The coxswain there, Ryder Taylor. And representing the Leichhardt combination in the men's intermediate Cox 4 is Jasper Richards, Remy Wilson, Peter Simkovic and Dylan Lee. Lily McHugh is the cox, and they're coached by Isaac Shepherd. Now, some of the terms for people on the live stream were wondering that when we talk about intermediate, what is that all about? Well, it goes back to the old classifications, very similar to the levels we have today. But men's intermediate, many years ago, of course, there was the novice. You start off novice, you win 3 novice races, then you're promoted up to intermediate, and then you go through the ranks. I think the next one up was called junior, and that was for people who had not won a senior. So you could be 30, 40 years of age and referred to as a junior. For many of the older brigade, it probably was considered to be a compliment, but at any rate, that was the way they started. Well, looks like the sculler. The sculler that has now been picked up, everything's okay there, and shortly we'll have a commencement. The 2 crews are up there on the line in race number 3, the men's intermediate Cox 4. Right on time. We should be starting off at 9:10, just coming up to right on the minute now, and we've got a start almost in the men's intermediate Cox 4. Only the 2 crews, as we mentioned before, UTS and Leichhardt. Well, what a magnificent view of the city. You can see that would be North Sydney over there, and as we see also the start, a good close-up there coming from the 2 crews in lane number 1. On this side of the course, you've got UTS and then Leichhardt just across to the other side. Both crews have started. I think they've just called them up to the start. I think they called them back to the start. They're ready, almost ready to go again. Might be having a technical issue up there at the start, but at any rate, yeah, I think they could be held up because of a technical issue in one of the boats. I think I heard the word shoe mentioned.
Still clearing the finish line.
Well, attention now has gone to the attention now has gone over to what's happening towards the end of the course. I can see there are 2 of the umpire launches over there. Not quite sure what's going on, whether one's broken down and somebody's gone over there to help, but they're right in the middle of the course. So we've got a little bit of delay there at the start of this next event. That's the men's intermediate Cox 4. In the meantime, what a magnificent view between the arches of the Iron Cove Bridge. Look, I don't know, I'm not telling my age, but I can remember the years when there was the old iron bridge. I mean, a real old iron bridge that used to go across there with trams on it. The trams used to run up from the city and Circular Quay and would run up towards the Gladesville area. And of course, a reminder of going back many years ago when they used to hold the events on the Parramatta River for the World Championship single sculls going back to the 1800s. That all started off in 1860. They had a very old bridge up there, but it didn't precede some of those races. No bridges. The only way to get up to the Gladesville for the start of the professional championships was by a ferry. and they would have crowds of nearly 100,000 that would watch these magnificent races for the World Champion Single Sculls. Races were held over in Canada, in England, obviously, Henley, but here, where the New South Wales Scullers rules supreme. And in fact, there is a plaque on the International Regatta Centre that is a reminder of what they did. All those old fellas that the first prize for them was not a trophy. The first prize was generally to get a licensed hotel, and one of those hotels still running today. Of course, the Scull is long since gone, of course, but nevertheless, what a magnificent way to start a rowing program, to win a hotel. Well, they're off and running now in the men's intermediate Cox 4, sponsored by Viva Energy Australia. And here we have UTS would probably be favoured here with Henry Pursehouse, Oliver, Brain and Pender Ryder, and with Taylor as the coxswain, Ryder Taylor, but I'm surprised at this stage, and well done. Lane 1 UTS have got about a 3/4 of a length lead over the Leichhardt combination. A similar rate, but magnificent water down here. It's flat calm, unlike we've seen in previous occasions where I think it was even the Des Moines Regatta had to be cancelled, and the water's a little bit dicey up there at Glebe, but nevertheless beautiful water here today. A slight breeze blowing as we can see this crew from number 1. That's the UTS combination, UTS Haberfield combination, now with about a length and a half lead. It's a more mature crew, and they look like they might be in the lightweight class, but they are a splendid combination coming through there, and up against them is the young juniors, so considerably younger, but in there with all the enthusiasm that you can get from this young Leichhardt crew, which are now about 2 lengths behind as they go past Rhode Island. It's a very, very interesting event coming on here, because you can see the great rowing coming from the crew from UTS Haberfield, and there's no love lost between the two club crews there, but what a magnificent effort coming from the crew on the far side, which is the Leichhardt crew of Richards, Wilson, Singovich and Lee, and Lily McHugh, the coxswain, and they're coached by the young coach at Leichhardt, Isaac Shepherd, who has been taking young people right up to state championship levels, and been doing a great job down here at Leichhardt.